keep this to ourselves.
And so that's why, Kamen Rider Pies isn't actually the worst, but Ghost... No! Tank, are you okay?
I think so. What the heck? Rope? You! I thought I killed you.
In El Chaco, Argentina, Bert Gummer is giving an interview about a graboid that appeared in Argentina that evolved into a shrieker, which now heads towards their location. With the gear he comes acquired with, Bert shoots the entire horde of shriekers dead before taking questions.
Back in Perfection, Nevada, Bert has come home and learns from Miguel that a real estate company has come in and is trying to buy up the land. Miguel learns that Bert is putting in an underground reinforced barrier around his property to keep graboids away, even though there haven't been any in the area since the first movie. Bert then pays a visit to Chang's Market, which is now run by the late man's niece, Jody, who's selling plenty of graboid stuff. Bert shows her a new watch that keeps time using ultrasonic frequencies.
At least one of the Chang family members took over the shop. I liked him in the first movie.
And his successor is great in the show.
There was a show?
Bert then learns of a new resident in town, Jack Sawyer, who gives graboid tours. Jack, with the help of his partner Buford, tricks customers into thinking they're encountering graboids as part of a scam, even selling them drinks when they get stuck. Bert returns to his compound. After Jack gets back to town, he and Jody get to talking business. Outside there's some rumbling.
That's never good in these movies.
The next morning, Nancy and her daughter Mindy visit the market, and it's clear Mindy has a thing for Jack. Bert and Jack meet, and Jack tries to use Bert as a photo op for his customers to get more money. Jack tries to convince Bert to work with him, but Bert wants him to get lost. Buford gets back into town and pervs on Mindy, to Jack's annoyance.
During one of the tours, Mindy is with Buford, but currently her mind is on Jack and his mysterious past.
There is no mysterious past.
An actual graboid shows up and attacks the tour, killing Buford. The customers end up learning that the tour was a scam, but they've got more pressing concerns now that a real graboid has appeared. Bert, however, was prepared and sounds an alarm to warn the town, and the tour group makes it back.
That's good now that they have an alarm.
When Bert arrives, Jack tells him what happened. Bert takes control of the situation, and that night tells everyone what to do to prepare for the graboid. Nancy tells Bert they're not unprepared this time, but since they didn't maintain their seismographic equipment, they are still fighting blind, and he decides it's time to go hunting.
That sounds about right.
Unfortunately, they encountered government agents along the way, as Nancy had called them to get their help. Turns out graboids are now considered an endangered species, meaning the Bert's plan to hunt down the graboids could be considered a crime.
We never get to have any fun.
The agents are also having to inform the residents of Perfection that they may need to move out to ensure the graboids remain protected. That night, Bert's scanners detect a graboid appearing and he goes out to face it. But the albino graboid don't cross over into his property, so he can't shoot it, and it just crawls back into its hole.
As the residents grouse about their situation, the agents return and the citizens learn that if they can catch one alive, they might not have to move out. Jack then makes a deal with the agents that if they can manage to capture a live graboid for them, the residents be allowed to hunt the remaining graboids. Bert thinks it's an incredibly stupid idea, But he has little choice since he wants to keep his home. And since Jack came up with the idea, Bert drags him along for the ride. One of the agents returns, having found a graboid egg, so he needs to use the phone.
They're in the middle of nowhere. You think a phone is going to work?
Ever hear of cell phones?
Yeah, we still don't have cell towers.
Never mind.
Back with Bert and Jack, they need to make noise to attract the graboids. Then they encounter Melvin, the bratty kid from the first movie. They learn that Melvin works for the company trying to buy out the land to develop it. Melvin learns that Bert and Jack are graboid hunting. One of them decides to take the bait. But thanks to Melvin's pager, the graboid ends up eating Bert before leaving.
Well, didn't see that coming.
As Jack mourns the loss of his potential business partner, Bert radios him to let him know that he's still alive. Bert tells Jack to lure the graboid to Bert's house, and Jack drives to his place, and the graboid slams into the concrete barricade around the place. Jack then digs up the graboid, and Jody shows up as Jack uses a chainsaw to cut Bert free.
Wait, so all the people eaten by the graboids in the other movies, they're still alive?
They didn't have a metal drum around them when they were eaten.
That's besides the point. The citizens aren't having much luck, as one of the two remaining ones seem to have disappeared when one of the agents returned from the desert. They encounter Trickers, leaving one agent alive as he covered his heat with fire extinguisher, but he soon expires due to the cold. Bert contacts Nancy and Mindy to tell them about the Shriekers.
Bert tells the group he's with about what Shriekers are capable of. With Bert's laptop and the scanning equipment they have, they learn that there are 7 Shriekers, which is more than there should be, meaning they're already multiplying. Miguel notices that the Shriekers are heading for a canyon the humans could trap them in, when an albino graboid attacks Jack's truck. Miguel christens the albino El Blanco.
The group's radios are in the trucks, which they can't get to because of El Blanco. Jack and Jody get to talking. Jody learns that Jack has been ordering supplies from a larger company behind her back. Bert watches his laptop and is glad to see that the Shriekers haven't left the canyon, and Miguel mentions an albino goat his family had that was sterile, and Bert guesses that's why El Blanco isn't a horde of Shriekers like the other graboids.
Late into the night, El Blanco still has the group trapped, and seems to be targeting Bert specifically. The next morning, Bert and the others hear the Shriekers make a noise they've never heard them make before, and with an idea Miguel stole from MacGyver, they get Bert's radio. Bert calls Nancy and tells her and Mindy to make a loud noise over the radio. Mindy tapes her CD player to the radio, and Bert throws his now music-blaring radio away. This distracts El Blanco, allowing Bert to get to his truck and set it to drive itself into the desert to further distract the graboid. Bert and the others use this opportunity to go Shrieker hunting.
Let's do this. Bert tries to blow up Shriekers, but they can't find any sense of Shriekers aside from shedded husk. Bert and the others leave and find Bert's now destroyed truck.
Truck had only 5 days until retirement.
This means that they're now limited on ammo. Jody notices that something is wrong when a new type of creature shows up. They witness the creature launch itself by blowing fire out of its... Ew! Must have had some really hot sauce. Damn! After making it into the air, the creature glides back down. Everyone starts shooting at the creature, which kills Miguel before dying itself.
As everyone mourns the death of Miguel, Bert tells Nancy what happened. Jody tells her the creatures can fly, just as one shows up to attack Nancy and Mindy. They retreat into Chang's market and attack the creature with chairs. It bursts in and lunges at the pair, and while Nancy beats it with a chair, Mindy decides to distract the beast with a microwaved ham, allowing them to retreat into the meat locker.
See, dude, ham can help in some situations.
You're right, but I still don't like it.
Fair point. The group finds out the new creature contains a graboid egg, explaining the full life cycle of the creature. And they also figure out how the new creature is able to fly using flammable farts. After Bert tells them that they're out of ammo, they need to get to the compound, Jody makes a dumb suggestion and everyone carries a mattress to hide their body heat. Jody also comes up with the name Ass Blaster.
Excuse me, miss, but this is a PG channel.
Well, they try to keep it PG as least.
Still, go wash your mouth out with soap, young lady.
You're not her mom. Bert then informs them that El Blanco is heading towards them, so they pick up their pace to get to the compound.
After finding out how much weaponry Bert has left, Bert tries contacting Nancy and Mindy, but he still can't contact the pair. El Blanco decides to come back, but Bert is confident they're safe. They're not. They retreat into Bert's safe room. Bert has MREs, so they'll be safe for about 6 to 7 years. They then hear a noise and Jack learns how hot the door is as the Ass Blaster tries to burn the door down. Bert shows them the escape tunnel, and while Jack and Jody escape, Bert sets a jug of fuel by the door and escapes himself. The fuel causes an explosion which destroys the compound and the ammo they were hoping to use.
No, that didn't work out for you now, did it? Nancy finally contacts Bert and tells him that they managed to capture an Ass Blaster by feeding it, revealing that they go into a coma when they eat enough food. This means Bert blew up his own compound for no reason. When Jack wonders if they'll have to deal with El Blanco, Jody informs him that the explosion likely drove the graboid away, like in the comics he held. They learn that, not counting the one Nancy and Mindy caught, there are still 4 more Ass Blasters gliding around.
They use a tarp to hide themselves from the Ass Blasters as they make their way to the junkyard in a boat. They get close, but so does a 5th Ass Blaster, which can't see them because they're beneath it. Then it looks down. They flee to the junkyard and manage to hide just in time. They push down a wall of junk to kill the Ass Blaster, but the others spot them. They have to hide in a porta-potty, and Bert tries to assess the situation.
While they don't have any weapons to shoot at the flyers, Jack suggests they make a potato gun to shoot as Jody suggests flaming arrows at them. They vacate the John, split up to gather supplies while hiding from the Ass Blasters. One spots Jody, who managed to flee into a storage container filled with fuel. Jody flees out of the window as the Ass Blaster tries to follow her out but gets stuck, allowing Jody to close the unit, which explodes with the creature tries to launch itself through the door.
There's still 3 left, so the humans tell each other what supplies they've managed to get for the potato gun. That night, the 3 reunite to put together the makeshift weapon and head to a mobile home as an Ass Blaster approaches from above. It bursts through the wall, but they manage to stop it from entering, and they get to work on the potato gun. After assembling the gun, Jody asks if anyone has a lighter, and Jack correctly guesses that Bert does, because Bert is Bert.
They kill one of the Ass Blasters. They get attacked by one of the 2 remaining Ass Blasters. Jody has to shoot the creature with Jack's help and kill it. They fire another shot, but the last Ass Blaster ducks.
Well, it is related to a graboid. Those things are smart.
It then launches itself at them and tries to kill Jack, but Bert stabs the thing with an arrow with a fuse, and the humans flee from the mobile home before it explodes!
They think it's all over, but then El Blanco shows up, and Bert wonders how it knows where he is. Turns out it's the ultrasonic signal that keeps his watch in perfect time. El Blanco tips the trailer, and Bert gets caught on some bed springs. Jack takes off Bert's watch, and El Blanco chases Jack to the truck. As Jody works to get Bert free, they learn that one of the Ass Blasters survived having junk dumped on top of it. Thanks to some quick thinking by Jack, El Blanco eats the Ass Blaster, and everyone is safe.
Nancy is on the phone about selling her Ass Blaster. Jack and Jody hook up. Bert leads El Blanco around with a remote control car, and Melvin shows up to buy the land. But since El Blanco lives there, the land is protected by the government, so no one is allowed to hunt graboids, and Melvin cannot build anything on the land even if he did buy it. Then Bert drives off, leaving Melvin stuck on the rock.
You stay on that rock and think about what you've done, mister.
That was Tremors 3. A good little movie.
Yeah, it is. The characters, like always, are great.
The evolution of the graboids is fun. Silly, but fun.
The story was also good.
I thought it was interesting that they had a graboid on the side of the humans.
If only for a little bit. But, just remember, we've only got one more good Tremors movie left.
Yeah, after the fourth movie, the series kind of goes downhill big time.
At least the show was good. Well, it's time to bring this episode of Kaiju Review to an end. I'm Protomet.
I'm Tank.
Bye!